bodybuilders are very emotional people to begin with.
So in the bodybuilding world, unsportsmanlike conduct is not extremely common, but it's also not so rare and unheard of. It's surely not an easy task to handle the defeat, especially when you have set high standards for yourself, and falling short can feel very devastating. We have witnessed numerous amateur and professional bodybuilders whining and expressing their disappointment and frustration on stage right after losing the competition. But we will only discuss very well-known top 6 IFBB professional bodybuilders who competed on the most prestigious show of bodybuilding, Mr. Olympia, and even some of them won the Olympia title. One of the most genetically gifted bodybuilders, Phil "The Gift" Heath, was reigning and defending champ until 2017 Mr. Olympia, and he was aiming to get his 8th send-out trophy of Olympia. But in 2018 Olympia on Saturday night, Phil was not so confident as he used to be, especially during the announcement of results. He was kind of doubtful for winning his 8th consecutive Olympia title. You can see in the video he's kind of nervous and his response to the audience seems very artificial. On the other side, late Shaban was super confident. There is even one point in the finals when Shaban completely stopped posing to look at Phil's gut, as Phil was breathing heavily through his stomach and he seemed more and more winded. And finally Shaban became first time Mr. Olympia winner in a very tough fight after defeating Phil, which was obviously very surprising for Phil Heath fans, but it was extremely shocking for Phil as well. It was more like unbelievable, unacceptable defeat for Phil. I think he was not really prepared to face the loss. He was in state of shock as he was losing very first time after 7 consecutive years of winning the Olympia title. As Phil wanted to be 10 times Mr. Olympia winner and leading up to the 2018 Olympia, Phil strongly believed he was undisputed and invincible to anyone on stage. And seemingly due to the unwanted outcome, he took his medal off while storming off the stage after congratulating Shaban, which many fans believed it was bad sportsmanship from Phil. 1980 Mr. Olympia was one of the most controversial Olympias as Arnold Schwarzenegger made a comeback after 5 years, and Frank Zane was aiming to win his 4th consecutive Olympia title. But Arnold was the last man standing on stage, whereas Frank Zane ended up taking 3rd place. Many bodybuilding fans believed it was the least impressive Arnold they ever saw on stage, and he did not deserve to win 1980 Olympia. Frank Zane was extremely disappointed and upset with the result that he reportedly smashed his trophy against the wall backstage. He mentioned on his official website that Arnold did not deserve to win in 1980 Olympia. He also mentioned that trophy was slipped out of his hand due to the posing oil. But it was claimed that he broke his trophy to bits out of anger and frustration, which was still unsportsmanlike conduct. So next in the list we have Egyptian bodybuilder IFBB Pro Shaban, who was at 10th place in 2021 Mr. Olympia, whereas Regan Grimes was at 15th place. And after a few weeks of Olympia, IFBB Pro League was going to have men's open bodybuilding show very first time in Egypt. And Shaban was very excited to compete in his homeland and win the title being an Egyptian, whereas he was going to have a rematch against Regan Grimes, whom he already defeated in Olympia. But arguably Regan brought an improved package in KO Squad Egypt Pro, and judges had him winner over Shaban, which was huge disappointing and clearly very devastating result for Shaban. And right after the award ceremony, he quickly took his medal off and flounced off the stage. Later on after the show, Muhammad Shaban went off on the judges and he mentioned on his Instagram that show after show I feel like they just don't want me up there. Like how much I can lose before they see me give up. Obviously, he was very frustrated and furious, but it's not the right way to handle the loss, especially being a professional athlete. 2022 Mr. Olympia winner Hadi Choopan was planning to get his second Olympia title in 2023 against Derek Lunsford. He was extremely confident and very hopeful to bring back another Sandoz trophy in his homeland, Iran, as he is the only Iranian who ever won the Mr. Olympia. Hadi has huge fan following in Iran, and undeniably Iranian fans had very high expectations from him. And Hadi had worked incredibly hard to defend his title, but he had to settle for second place against Derek Lunsford. Right after the announcement, Hadi congratulated the winner and took his medal off and tried to leave the stage, but one of the Olympia staff members requested him to put on his medal. And after a few moments, Hadi ripped off his medal once again and stormed off the stage. Even if he deserved to win, I think he still did not have the right to do this. It was surely poor sportsmanship from Hadi in my opinion. He was reigning Mr. Olympia, he had to be gracious loser. Hadi's reaction to the 2023 Mr. Olympia loss was driven by emotions and extreme disappointment in his failure to defend his title. The act of storming off the stage was unanimously criticized within the bodybuilding community. It's completely understandable for an athlete to feel anger or frustration after losing, but leaving the stage in disappointment is not the right way to handle a loss. Interestingly, Brazilian bodybuilder Rafael Brandão shared his experience with Hadi Choopan, which seemingly was not really pleasant. He said, "For me, he does not get any more respect."
Ele e os amigos dele lá assim, tipo, sai fora.
Te empurrou?
Me empurrou, mano.
Tirou você de lá?
Tirou dali.
Caraca, eu não sabia dessa.
Tirou dali, tá ligado? E, tipo, não foi uma experiência legal. Falei, filho da puta do caralho, vai te fuder. Um dia eu vou te pegar ainda.
Boa.
Rafael also talked about 7 times two-tool Olympia champ Flex Lewis' experience with Hadi. That Hadi went crazy after losing from Flex. He went out hitting his head on the wall backstage and cursing everyone.
Não vi isso.
Ele é muito folgado. O Flex falou que ele ficou louco, saiu batendo a cabeça lá na parede atrás do backstage, xingando todo mundo.
Batendo a cabeça?
Batendo em tudo lá. Falou, mano, bizarro assim, coisa ridícula. Ridícula.
Caramba.
Então, mano, pra mim um cara desse não ganha meu respeito. Pode ter o melhor físico do mundo. Hoje é o melhor físico do mundo. Pra mim não tem meu respeito.
From time to time, we often see clips of Iranian competitions and athletes refusing judges' decisions and storming off the stage.
Now when someone shouldn't beat you, what they do, you can't respect that. You just can't respect it.
Next in the list we have IFBB Pro Nathan Asha. He's one of the best British bodybuilders who has 12 pro wins under his belt. His best performance in Olympia was 7th place in 2017. In 2023, Nathan won back-to-back 2 pro shows, and he was going for the 3rd win in Europa Pro against the Canadian rising star Regan Grimes. But judges had him at 2nd place, which was very shocking for Nathan as he was expecting to be the last man standing once again. He was extremely disappointed and furious. As you can see in the video, he raised his index finger and he kept pointing out that he is the real winner. Nathan even expressed his thoughts right after the show that he can't respect if someone does not deserve to beat him. A lot of people associate this with a sign of poor sportsmanship on Nathan's behalf and very disrespectful to the actual winner. To be honest, Nathan is known to be a bad loser in the bodybuilding community. We remember his reaction after losing to Hadi Choopan in 2019, to Marcelo Horse MD last year, and this year to Behrouz Tabani.
At this point, I know I've won, right?
Many fans consider Flex Wheeler as one of the all-time best bodybuilders, yet he never won Mr. Olympia title. He fought against Dorian Yates and Ronnie Coleman multiple times. After losing to Ronnie in a very close fight in 98 Olympia just by 3 points margin, in 99 Olympia, Flex brought arguably the best shape of his life on Olympia stage. He was around 17 pounds heavier than last year, and he truly believed that his combination of size, shape and symmetry would be enough to defeat the king Ronnie Coleman. But Ronnie still beat him with perfect score. And right after the announcement, Flex removed the medal from his neck and turned his back on the audience. And that incident is considered as the most unsportsmanlike conduct and most disrespectful in the bodybuilding world, as it happened in the biggest show of the bodybuilding, Mr. Olympia. After the show, Flex openly made a statement that Ronnie won with the perfect score, so he's out of my reach now. Surely sometimes it's extremely hard to accept the defeat, but professional athletes should strive to handle their emotions gracefully, even in the moments of disappointment and anger.
You know, when he beat me in 98, it was by, I think, 2 points or something like that, a 1 point spread. And I felt I could close that gap. And I came in a lot better and a lot bigger, and I felt I closed that gap, right? At the very minimum, I felt I closed that gap. And then he ended up winning with a perfect score. And what I remember saying is, I'm more comfortable that he won with a perfect score, because if it would have been like a 1 point difference, I would have thought, if I go harder, if I take more, if I train longer, I can beat him. But at that point, it's like, wow, so I actually came in better. And he now beat me with a perfect score, so it's out of my reach now. It's nothing I can do about it.
He's out of your reach now.
So that's all, guys. Let me know in your opinion what was the most unsportsmanlike conduct. Thanks for watching.